Welcome to Tiger Tracks, your home for the best of LSU athletics. And now your hosts, Jordy Hultberg and Bill Franques.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Tiger Tracks on CST. Yes, he is Bill Franques, and yes, I am Jordy Hultberg. Thanks so much for dialing us up as you do each and every week since last we talked. Baseball season underway. The Tigers on a 7-game winning streak until last night. A rain-shortened, kind of a kind of taste in your mouth, but all the credit in the world to the Raging Cajuns, 4-1 win.
Exactly, and it's something LSU can learn from.
Yes.
Certainly, you got to remember LSU hadn't lost a midweek game
Forever.
in nearly 3 years.
Yeah, forever.
Unbelievable. Tigers have won 32 straight against Louisiana schools, so those streaks had to come to an end at some time.
Yeah.
The Cajuns have an excellent team, and they prevailed last night. Tigers will put it behind them.
Yep.
Coach Maneri said that there were some issues that they need to work upon, and they'll start working on it and get ready for Yale this weekend.
Good to learn now, not when league play starts. Ben McDonald will join us to talk about this LSU baseball team, pitching staff-wise, what Alan Dunn has brought to the table, and to talk about baseball in general. LSU basketball back at home. They'll take on Texas A&M. So important for SEC tournament seeding purposes.
Absolutely. The issue is to try to get into that
Number
top four.
Yeah,
that
top
four,
yeah.
Get that double bye in the tournament, and hopefully it'll enhance the Tigers' chances of advancing as far as they can in the postseason. It's a heartbreaking loss on Saturday in Lexington, but a tremendous game.
We brought TD Bro here on the set.
Yeah.
Tigers are number one. Exactly. We'll have a gymnastics feature and much more. We had everything to do with it. Not the girl. I'm just kidding. We'll be back. Tiger Tracks on CST after this. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks on CST. He's Bill Franques. I'm Jordy Hultberg. Our first guest of the day, well, first of all, he was arguably the greatest baseball player in LSU baseball history, Golden Spikes Award winner. He was Stephen Strasburg 20 years ago before Stephen Strasburg even existed. And we're talking about gentle Ben, but big Ben McDonald. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. Good to be with you.
You like that intro?
Again. I like that.
You still got the same hairstyle from way back in the day.
It's thinning a little bit.
No, you got more than me.
There's a little bit of chrome starting to show up in there too, you know, but everything's good. Everything's good.
Ben, you're still heavily involved in baseball. You're doing television work all around. You got to see LSU play UL Lafayette last night.
Yep.
And maybe the rain should have come a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I mean, UL is 10th ranked in the nation for a reason, you know, and they really, you know, outplayed LSU last night. You know, Cody Glenn scuffled a little bit with his command a little bit, and their starting pitcher did a nice job against LSU. And, you know, we had a couple of errors mixed in there, but when you start playing that kind of competition, and don't forget, I mean, you know this, UL led the country in homers last year. They returned 8 of 9 starters, so there's a lot of experience to go with a good offense and a much improved pitching staff. So I think UL, you know, is going to be a national contender this year. This could be their year to make some noise.
It's good to get a game like that under your belt in preseason play.
I think so. I mean, neither one of the clubs have really played a whole lot of competition at this point, so this was really the first good opponent either one of them had played. And, you know, I'd like to have seen it go the full distance, and I think see if LSU could have mounted some type of comeback, but 2 really evenly matched teams, I thought.
Yeah. Well, Ben, you've seen the Tigers a few times now, including last night's game. It's still very early, as you just said, but what are your overall impressions of where this club is? Obviously, a lot to replace from last season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you lose Katz and Rhymes, and you lose 40% of your offense, and they lost some athletes last year. And I don't think that we're as talented as we were last year. It doesn't mean we can't win, but I still think there's, you know, my concerns, like everybody else's concerns watching, is who's going to drive in runs. I mean, that's been said a lot, but where's the offense going to come from? There's got to be some guys starting to step up. I mean, Moore's starting to hit a little bit. He was hitting 360-something coming in. I think Bregman's going to do his thing. But, you know, in front of Bregman, you know, Laird needs to get on base. And really behind Bregman is going to be the key, you know, because they're not going to face Bregman. The old rule of thumb in baseball is you don't let the other team's best player beat you. And so the guy hitting behind Bregman is going to, when he gets his chances early in the year, he's going to have to start to perform, or maybe they'll pitch to Bregman. So the offense is a little bit concerned. I think we're okay starting pitching-wise. We got one of the best starters in the country. The bullpen, you know, is a little bit, I think we took Chris Cotton for granted because he wasn't a guy that threw 95, but he got you out and he pitched like he could pitch. And so the bullpen's some concern for me, but we'll see how it all shakes down.
To your point, Skip Bertman, I heard, said, good starting pitching, can feel the baseball, but where's the hitting going to come? Starting pitching, Alan Dunn, the impact that he has made in this program. What
a blessing for LSU pitchers and every kid that comes here to have a big league pitching coach here at the college level, because that's what Alan Dunn was. He was a minor league pitching coordinator. He'd actually taught it at every level, including the big leagues and the Oriole organization. And I really liked him. Before Dunn was here, I would see talent come to LSU just watching from the outside looking in, and I wouldn't see a lot of improvement. I wouldn't see guys really get better in a couple of years. Now I'm starting to see guys get better. Guys are maturing. Guys are learning how to pitch, and I think Alan Dunn is a big reason why. And that is big to have that kind of guy, and it's got to help recruiting too. To say, hey, I got a guy here that's been a big league pitching coach. Come learn from him. We'll get you ready for pro baseball. So.
And Ben, one of Alan's star pupils is, of course, Aaron Nola. Over the past 25 years, beginning with Ben McDonald, LSU has always had that ace, and Aaron is now continuing that legacy. What are your impressions of him? He's just been spectacular.
We're getting spoiled with him too. Every time he takes the mound, it's just like it's 1, 2, 3, and he's getting guys out. But Aaron has showed from day one, even as his freshman year, that he can command the strike zone. He throws the ball as well inside and outside. He moves it around. He's got a much improved breaking ball and changeup, and so. He's an ace. Like you said, he is a true ace. He's one of the top pitchers in the country. Him and Tyler Beatty over at Vanderbilt and Mingden, over at Texas A&M. They'll battle it out for SEC Pitcher of the Year this year, but you're talking about a guy that's got a professional future ahead of him.
I wonder if Ben would have been so easy to come out with a no-hitter in the 7th. I'm just saying. We'll take a break. More thoughts with Ben McDonald when we return here to Tiger Tracks on CST. You just stayed in. We continue here on Tiger Tracks on CST alongside Bill Franques. I'm Jordy Hultberg. We continue with Ben McDonald. Ben, we've talked a little bit about LSU, but let's talk big picture. The SEC still very, very good. There's a lot of good teams out there around the country. Your thoughts about the landscape of college baseball?
It's early, but I was kind of looking through the stats. There's as many as 10 SEC teams ranked nationally, right? So it goes to show the power. Rankings are still there for LSU. And look, Vanderbilt really scares me. Their pitching staff is probably the best staff in the country. From Tyler Beatty, their ace, to their closer. I mean, they've got it all. They lost a lot like LSU did position player-wise, but they still got a few guys back, but their pitching will carry them. South Carolina's going to be really good. Joey Pancake, the shortstop over there, Grayson Griner, their catcher. I mean, those two guys are as good as anybody. And then it's just the SEC. Ole Miss is a kind of surprise team so far. It's early, only 7 or 8 games in, but leading the conference in team batting average, and, of course, they're up there in pitching too. So that's a little bit of a surprise where Ole Miss is right now.
All right, Ben, last year in Omaha, there were 3 home runs hit at the College World Series. So naturally, that caused a lot of stir in the college baseball community.
It's a pictures ballpark. Yeah. Come on.
I wish I could have. Look, Paul Carey wouldn't be a trivia question if I was playing in that ballpark.
Exactly. Exactly. The times have certainly changed. Yes. However, the flat seam baseball is going into effect for next season.
Right.
Talk about the effect both on the pitchers in gripping a baseball like that, and of course on the way the ball travels when it's hit.
Well, I think it's a good move. I mean, we know that the changes were made about 4 years ago, and to be honest, they gave the pitcher a little bit too much advantage. Like those new bats we're using today are really tough to hit with, even at the high school level. But they're going to more of a pro seam ball, which are, maybe a little bit harder ball, but with the seams aren't quite as raised. And what that's going to do is the breaking balls, because the spin of the ball spinning forward on a breaking ball is what makes it, actually have its action and its sharpness. Pitchers won't have as dominant breaking balls with those kind of things. Still be able to throw a breaking ball, but you just won't have the nastiest bite that you have before. And so that'll make the ball a little bit more hittable. And then the ball is going to carry a little bit more because maybe it's a little bit harder ball and less resistance with the seam. So when it's actually hit, the ball will go a little bit further, which will be a plus too, which I think is a good fix for most of the college stadiums. Now, when you start talking about Omaha, I think there's more has got to be done than just a fix on that because, I mean, we all know the old Omaha set up on a hill and prevailing prevailing winds always blew out. That's just the winds. This new ballpark is sunken down. It sinks down, and the winds typically blow in.
And you don't even get to see downtown Omaha. Whoever the engineer was, please.
I really think the fix to Omaha is not just the baseballs. They're going to have to bring those fences in a little bit. I think that's what's going to – because, listen, Creighton's played there 4 years now. In the studio last year, we talked about this, and there's been 4 Omahas there. Still not a home run hit between left center all the way down to right center, and that's just ridiculous. They got to change that.
I got to ask you this. I've asked you a bunch of questions, but you study other pictures in your career. Who's the nastiest picture you've ever seen?
Randy Johnson would be hard to get away from back in the heyday. He was with Seattle back in the mid-'90s, and he was throwing legit 97 to 100 every time, and then he's throwing it from the left side, and he's 6'11", he's all arms and legs. He was probably one of the nastiest guys I ever saw. I saw Ryan, but Ryan was, in his early 40s, late 30s when I saw him, still throwing 94, but still really, really nasty. But if you go with just stuff-wise and hard to hit and pick up a ball, Randy Johnson probably the toughest guy.
I would have been John Kruk.
Bailing out. Or Palomero. Palomero always said, hey, I'll play every game of the year except when Johnson pitches, and I will not play. And he didn't. He didn't.
Ben, family has been so important to you, of course, and you and your wife, Nikki, are raising 2 great kids. One's already in college. Tell us about them.
Yeah, Jordy's over in London, England, going to school, got accepted at NYU, and that's been an adjustment for us because, we're used to having her around the house, and we put her on our airplane back for that fall semester, and there was a lot of sadness and depression around the house for me and my wife for a while. We put her back on a plane for a second semester about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and she's adjusted well. She made all A's and B's her first semester. She loves it over there, and when we hear her say those things and see those kind of results, easier for us to let her go. My son's 13 now. I'm coaching his travel ball team. I've gotten away from the softball stuff the last couple of years, and now I'm full-time into baseball. He's a 7th grader, and we're doing a travel ball thing, so it's every weekend, and he's enjoying it, and we're having fun with it.
Thanks for the time, Ben.
Anytime.
Always love it.
Anytime, guys.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more. This is Tiger Tracks on CST.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
Welcome back to Tiger Tracks on CST. I know the weather is still cold, but spring is around the corner. We're turning the calendar to March. Men's tennis, Jeff Brown, great opportunity to go see them play. A nice homestand coming up.
Exactly. They're at home throughout this weekend at the Dub Robinson Tennis Stadium. It's always a great atmosphere for tennis. The students really support the team, and Coach Brown's always in the top 25, always a contender for NCAA tournament play. They have Vanderbilt in Kentucky this weekend. Garrett Wolvert had a chance to talk to Coach Brown and some of his players. Let's take a look.
They're very energetic. They're very enthusiastic. We've had a lot of learning moments that have turned out really well, where we'll tell somebody something and you're not quite sure how they're going to take things, and in every instance it's turned out the way we'd hope it has. So they get along very well, which isn't always the most important thing, but they do get along well, and they practice hard together. They pull for each other. So it's been a fun team to coach. The results, like I said, I think will come.
You know what? I feel it's going to be a very good, exciting season. I think we're all ready for it. We have a young team who are very energized. And now I'm a junior. I feel like I know about everything really to know about the tennis side of it, about the experience side, and I feel really confident how I'm playing at the moment. Jeff and Danny have really helped me with my doubles side more. It's something I struggled with at the start, and I've come on a lot since I've been working with Jeff and Danny.
It's been fun to see some of the younger guys step up and be able to play high in the lineup and compete really hard. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do over the next couple of years with everybody being around for so long. We've got a lot of energy going into every single match. We've had a couple of tough losses, but I think we're really working hard and about to bounce back, and really looking forward to having some home conference matches. It's going to be fun, a lot of energy, and hopefully people end up coming out. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we're a loose and funny team. We're really excited. We're all really young, so we're excited about the next few years. We get to send them all together. The oldest guy on our team's a junior, so we're just looking forward to the next couple of years.
In doubles, we really started putting it together. The last match we played at Michigan was actually our best doubles point. The courts were pretty fast, and we didn't know how we were going to respond. We put some new teams together, but Boris Arias and Chris Simpson played one of the better matches I've seen in a long time. They beat the number 13 ranked team pretty handily, and it was just they didn't make many mistakes. They were really putting them on their heels the whole time. And then we put two other teams together. Andrew Kuranek and Eric Perez really played well together. They seem to, they gel pretty well. Their personalities are very similar. And then Tam Trin and Justin Butch played a great match. They're two little real speedy players. They were like a wall up at the net in the match, and they got an early break and hung on to it, and that was a big point for us.
We need to make NCAAs. That's priority one. I think we're going to be right there with everybody else in the SEC with it being so tough. But if we can make NCAAs and pick up a couple of wins there, I think that's going to be good.
Yeah, it's a really good atmosphere. We're all a very exciting bunch to come and watch. There's going to be a lot of exciting matches, and we always try and get the crowd involved.
The matches are going to be very exciting this year. We've got a lot of fan interest from some of the promotions that we're doing with the sorority challenge that we have. So you might have to fight for some space at some of the matches, but we're going to provide some food and some other things for everyone if they get there. The crawfish boils and the free pizzas. That we hope that you'll come for that, and then and realize that you actually like what's going on out there. And but we look forward to seeing you.
Chance to go see the Tigers play tennis not much longer at the old Dub Robinson Stadium as new plans are in effect. And there's always good free food giveaways. Jeff
really
Brown,
is.
pretty smart.
There really is. Usually there's a crawfish boil
going on.
Yeah,
pretty smart.
So I imagine there might be one there this weekend, so check it out at Robinson Tennis Stadium. But you're right, the men's tennis program is continuing to develop. Brand new facility is planned right across the street from Alec Bach Stadium. That's something to watch for in the coming years.
Don't get those keys ready. I'm going to beat you to it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Number one in the country, LSU Gymnastics next.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
LSU Baseball number one in the country as we welcome back to Tiger Tracks on CST. But there's another number one in the LSU Athletic Department. That's Dee Bro's LSU Gymnastics team, number one. Awesome.
Well, they've just been phenomenal throughout the season. As you said, we had Dee on the show last week. They had a great meet at Florida last weekend. This weekend, they're back at home against Missouri Friday night at 7 o'clock at the PMAC. And Dee has a great staff, and one of her outstanding staff members is assistant coach Bob Moore.
Okay.
Let's take a look at Bob and the impact he has on the LSU student athletes.
Now in his 15th season, LSU assistant Bob Moore is the most accomplished vault coach in the country. Since 2000, Moore has coached 15 All-Americans on vault, including 3 national champions. For his contributions to the sport, Moore was recently inducted into the USA Gymnastics Hall of Fame. But for all his accolades, Moore defers the credit to his gymnasts.
It's all about confidence with girls. If they believe something, they can do something. And I just credit this for them believing in themselves, knowing what we've done in the past. And I've got terrific kids who are pliable, easy to work with. And I just think that is so important that it's a partnership.
Over the last 6 seasons, Moore has coached half of the NCAA vault champions, including last year's title holder, Reagan Corville. Still just a sophomore, Corville notched a 9.925 at the NCAA championships.
Reagan is a articulate, beautiful gymnast. I have never seen any gymnast like her. She makes it look so easy. It's effortless. And she's actually very powerful as well.
Winning a national title is an amazing feeling, but it really validates how much of an amazing coach Bob is and how passionate he is about what he does. And the fact that he has so much individuality in all of his coaching for each of his gymnasts, it means a lot to us, and it makes us feel like he knows exactly what we need individually to succeed.
During LSU's first run to the Super Six, Susan Jackson earned the 2008 National Championship on vault during her sophomore season. In 2009, Ashley Claire Kearney averaged a stellar 9.90 during the NCAA Championships and won LSU's second consecutive vault title.
That was really great, and the fact that they were here at the same time. ACK had it all along, but she would get so worked up. You know, Susan had won it, you know, before, and then they're both in vault finals, and Susan does this great vault, gets a great score, and then she walks down the runway and she tells Ashley, she says, "Now you know what you got to do. Go beat it." And it was just what Ashley needed, because it took her mind off of the what ifs, and it gave her a focal point, something that she could now quantify, and she did it. It was beautiful.
Bob Moore has spent most of his career working in the Southeastern Conference, beginning at Auburn and later moving to Florida. While at Florida, Moore coached gymnast Susan Hines to back-to-back national championships on vault in '97 and '98.
That kid wanted it so bad, and she was a hard-working girl, and just was a terrific vaulter. She's very quick off of her hands. When you finally get that kid that you can see has got that twitch, has got that pop, there's no mistaking it.
Moore is also the academic liaison for the LSU gymnastics team, an appointment given by Coach Bro that he greatly respects.
I like working in all aspects with the girls. It helps me coaching them to know more than just the athletic side. And in the athletic department itself, we are always working to get our student athletes to be at the highest level academically as well. So this is a great thing for me personally, so that I can help them reach their goals.
In 2014, LSU returned 3 All-Americans on vault alone, including senior Sari Morrison, who's won 10 event titles during her career.
Sari is powerful, and that's, you know, I tell a lot of the kids when they're vaulting, I don't need you to try to be powerful, I just need you to vault. So Sari is very good about staying within herself, and she's very good about us together working with telling me what she's feeling, I'm telling her what I'm seeing, and then we come up with what we think is the middle ground, and it's been very successful.
Bob knows that we don't have to vault every day, so to be able to come in here and do drills some days and just work on specific things instead of the pounding of vaulting, it just makes for that consistent vault. Just to be able to get up there and have fun and enjoy and look down and see him down there just doing these silly hand movements, I think it makes for a better vault for me.
With LSU averaging better than a 197 for each meet, the Tigers are poised for another special season in Baton Rouge. And for Bob Moore, the success of the team always outweighs that of the individual. Reporting for Inside LSU Gymnastics, I'm Garrett Wolverine.
Awesome job, Bob Moore. 2 number 1s in the LSU athletic department tonight. LSU basketball, a very pivotal game against Texas A&M. A little revenge factor, right. Trying to get that in the top 4 seeds for the SEC tournament.
Obviously, the Tigers need to finish strong. 4 games left tonight against A&M, at Florida, then at Vandy, and they finish with Georgia at home next Saturday. So we'll see how the Tigers can complete the year, and hopefully it'll be on a very high note.
We'll talk all about it same time next week here on CST. For Bill Franques, I'm Jordy Hultberg. So long, Tiger fans.